Sauces are one of the most important factors in the kitchen. They give dishes their greatest gastronomic value. They are nevertheless a major challenge for all chefs. So making butter sauces requires thorough training. Butter sauces are the most expensive and certainly not the easiest to prepare. Therefore, in hotels and restaurants, the chef saucier is the most important person after the chef de cuisine. Mark Gallus, who with his wife runs the Kaltenbach Gallus Cookery School in Lucerne, Switzerland, will now demonstrate how to make Hollandaise sauce. To begin with, melt the butter, bring to the boil, and with a skimming ladle skim off the residue on the surface. Boil until the buttermilk has evaporated, or take off the heat and allow it to sink to the bottom. Allow the butter to cool down to around 50 degrees centigrade. This process is called clarifying the butter. For the reduction, shallots must be finely cut or chopped. The small violet-colored and garlic-shaped shallots give the Hollandaise sauce its characteristic flavor. Crush a few peppercorns and add to the shallots. Unripe black pepper is somewhat stronger than ripe and shelled white pepper. Either can be used. White wine vinegar and a dry white wine in equal quantities complete the ingredients for the reduction. Put all the ingredients into a sauteuse and reduce until the liquid has almost evaporated. Then allow to cool. In the meantime, separate the egg yolks from the whites and mix with a little cold water. Then strain the cooled reduction through a fine strainer onto the egg yolks. Because the liquid has been almost evaporated, the shallots must be squeezed with a spoon to extract every drop. In this way, the sauce obtains its concentrated flavor. Place the bowl with the egg yolks and reduction in a hot but not boiling water bath and whisk them to a creamy mixture that clings to the whisk. Hollandaise sauce has no connection with Holland. It was discovered by the French. It owes its flavor to the seasoning used and above all to the excellent butter from Normandy, which is the main ingredient. When the mixture clings slightly to the whisk, remove it from the water bath and place on a cloth. Continue whisking for a short time. Whisking prevents the egg yolks from curdling. If you forget to continue whisking after removing the bowl from the water bath, the mixture will turn into scrambled eggs. Many overconfident people have had to start all over again. Strain the clarified butter. It should have cooled down to around 50 degrees centigrade by now. Eliminate the buttermilk residue which has settled on the bottom. Now, as you continue whisking, slowly add the butter to the egg yolk mixture. Sauces must be tasty, be pleasing to the eye, and enhance the guest's appetite. They should never dominate the taste of a dish, but give it the finishing touch. And, of course, sauces must be adapted to the dish with which they're served. For every saucier, it's a new but not easy task to perform. The consistency of the sauce may vary according to which dish it's used for. Season with salt, a little cayenne pepper which gets its sharp taste from dried chilies belonging to the capsicum family, and a few drops of lemon juice, and you obtain the basic sauce for many variations. The taste of an excellent sauce is always reflected in the face of its creator. The sauce is then strained through a dry cheesecloth. Only in this way can its consistency remain constant. Since butter sauces both are made and stored in conditions favorable to the growth of bacteria, namely between 20 and 50 degrees centigrade, they very quickly give rise to germs not always of the most beneficial nature. Therefore, only the best quality raw produce should be used. And, of course, clean utensils must be employed in the preparation. Using Hollandaise left over from the previous service is not recommended unless it's heated thoroughly, for example by gratinating. Served in this way with vegetables, fish, and shellfish, it's a culinary delight. Once again, The important preparatory steps are: clarify the butter. Make a reduction with shallots, peppercorns, vinegar, and white wine. Add the cooled reduction to the egg yolks with water. Whisk to a creamy mixture in a warm but not boiling water bath. Remove the clarified butter from the water bath and slowly whisk it into the egg yolk mixture. Season with salt, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice. Strain through a dry cheesecloth and keep in a warm place, or serve it immediately, for example with broccoli, asparagus, or artichokes. Even large kitchens, where several hundred or even thousands of people are catered for, should not be afraid to serve a Hollandaise sauce as part of their menu. For reasons of hygiene and storage, they tend to use convenience food available as a top-quality product throughout the world. These products are quick and easy to prepare and require no great knowledge of cooking. The main advantage these products have over the classical preparation is that they're brought to the boil and are thereby germ-free, which of course is a priority in hospitals. Moreover, butter is the main ingredient, and for this reason, some patients must forego the pleasure of this wonderful sauce. Connoisseurs and gourmets should also be aware of this fact, and difficult though it may be now and then, resist the temptation to overindulge and enjoy such sauces in reasonable proportions. Every chef must taste his sauce. How similar the facial expression is on tasting the result of his work, however different the preparation. Whether in a big or small kitchen, the presentation of food should never be a complicated ritual. Only too often does the food get cold and turn a good dish into an average meal. A further reason for not giving up on this heat-resistant sauce in large establishments. Because the covers are removed only after reaching the room. In this way, the patient can appreciate that the art of cooking begins with the sauces. In order to use up leftover Hollandaise, Mark Gallus suggests mixing it with some whipped cream in a white wine sauce to be used to gratinate crustaceans, fish, and vegetables. In this way, any bacteria present are killed, and as he puts it, it's a successful combination of making use of food profitably and enhancing its culinary value. Using the basic Hollandaise sauce, we can now demonstrate the Maltaise, Mousseline, and Riche variations. It has now become traditional to serve Maltaise sauce with asparagus dishes. Remove the zest of a blood orange and cut it into very thin strips. Be careful at all times not to include any of the white pith. It would give the sauce a bitter, unpleasant taste. And if possible, choose fruit which has not been sprayed. Then blanch the strips in boiling water. After about 1 minute, drain them and cool in ice-cold water. These strips, along with the juice of the freshly squeezed blood orange, act both as a garnishing and give fuller flavoring. All blood oranges, whether Sanguinello, Tarocco, or Moro, have a slight bittersweet taste. It's exactly this taste which gourmets appreciate in a Maltaise sauce when served with the king of vegetables, the asparagus. Mix the ingredients with the Hollandaise and serve from a warm sauce boat or directly onto the plate. Decorate the top with a few strips of the orange peel. Such a dish, prepared by one of the masters of haute cuisine, is a particular delight for every customer. Another well-known variation of Hollandaise is sauce mousseline. Its only ingredient is an extremely light one, whipped cream. It must be carefully folded into the Hollandaise so that tiny traces of airy cream are still visible to the guest. This sauce adds a refined touch to poached fish and crustacean dishes, as well as to vegetables such as cauliflower, asparagus, and artichokes. Caviar sauce, and this is certainly a reference to its cost, is also known as sauce riche. Mix a little large-grained caviar with a lightly seasoned hollandaise. Lightly seasoned because caviar is preserved in salt and can make the sauce too salty. It's not a common sauce, but it will make any gourmet's heart beat faster. Served with poached fish or poached eggs, this delicacy is seldom seen on menus today. Another derivative of hollandaise is sauce écarlate, is made with a light puree of pickled tongue and Madeira, or sauce Dunon is made with essence of truffle, whipped cream, and a puree of crayfish. Béarnaise sauce is also a basic butter sauce. It's prepared in the same way as hollandaise sauce. Therefore, some chefs consider it to be another variation of hollandaise sauce. In demonstrating the slight difference between the two sauces, Mark Gallus shows that it's worthwhile considering béarnaise as a separate sauce. To begin with, clarify the butter. Then put the finely chopped shallots and a few crushed peppercorns into a sauteuse. Use black or white peppercorns. As we mentioned earlier, black peppercorns have a somewhat sharper taste. Add some dry white wine. And now comes the first difference with hollandaise: tarragon vinegar. Tarragon is a herb with long, narrow leaves. It gives the sauce a shiny green color. But most important is the flavor of the tarragon, which is an excellent accompaniment to fish, chicken, and some meat dishes. Because the stems also contain a lot of flavor, chop and add them to the reduction to give the desired taste. Reduce until almost all the liquid has evaporated. While slender tarragon leaves are being chopped, but not too finely, and while the butter is clarifying and the reduction is cooking, let us look at the origin of this sauce. Despite its name, this sauce does not originate from Béarn in France. History tells us that it was prepared for the first time at a banquet in honor of King Henry IV of France at a castle in Saint-Germain-en-Laye, much to the delight of the guests. So, in memory of King Henry IV, who was born near Béarn, the chef called his creation sauce béarnaise. And now the eggs, one of the first foods eaten by man. We use only the yolks as the basis for this sauce. Egg yolk binds all the ingredients and gives the sauce its color, as well as enlivening, refining, and improving it. Add white wine and the cooled, strained reduction to the egg yolk mixture, remembering to squeeze the reduction thoroughly, and then whip in a water bath. Whip until they become creamy and cling to the whisk. This procedure requires a lot of time, and so the chef has a long moment to reflect on how lucky he is to have chosen this profession, especially today, as more and more people are eating out in hotels and restaurants. Remove the mixture from the water bath and continue whisking. Strain the butter, which now has cooled slightly. The butter must be clear, of pleasant color and taste, and free from any impurities before it's whisked into the egg yolks. By whisking quickly and pouring the butter slowly, we make one of the best sauces ever to bring pleasure and delight to many a guest. The consistency of sauce béarnaise may be a little thicker than hollandaise. In earlier times, so the books say, it was even served on top of the meat. A little salt, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, and the roughly chopped tarragon leaves round the taste off. The yellow color of the egg yolks and butter, the flavor of white wine and vinegar, the aroma of tarragon and seasoning. 3 excellent reasons why this sauce has always been a favorite on menus. Nevertheless, it should only be served after the chef is satisfied with the taste. It's important when serving that the sauce boat is warm, but not hot, in order to prevent the sauce from separating. One of the best-known variations of béarnaise is sauce choron. Mixed with a little highly concentrated tomato puree, this sauce is mainly served with grilled and sautéed meat. The preparation is easy. The taste is astonishing. Sauce Choron mixed with a little anchovy butter becomes sauce aiguë and is served mainly with grilled fish dishes. Another derivative is sauce feuillet. Melted but not hot meat glaze is mixed into the béarnaise. The glace de viande, as it's called in French, is made from reduced strained brown veal stock. The stock is placed over a slow heat until it's reduced to the consistency of a puree. So much time for one sauce, you may say, but after you've tasted sauce feuillet, you'll appreciate that it's worthwhile. The combined ingredients of sauce Choron and sauce feuillet give us the last variation of béarnaise, sauce Rachel. Equal quantities of glace de viande and concentrated tomato puree are mixed into the béarnaise and give us, and this can be seen as well as tasted, a totally new sauce. When we eat, we often tend to forget what is considered a gourmet's greatest virtue. You never eat more than you can digest and never drink more than you require. These dishes, served with a sauce béarnaise or a variation of it, are proof of this expression. White and red butter sauces, an almost forgotten art, are making a triumphant return in nouvelle cuisine and are now back at the top of the sauce hierarchy. Shallots must be finely chopped for making beurre blanc. It's this French name that's used on most menus. Peppercorns are most easily crushed using a heavy-bottomed sauteuse or sautoir and are then added to the chopped shallots. When making this sauce for the first time, it's recommended to make only small quantities of it. A little vinegar and a dry white wine are the rest of the ingredients used in the reduction. Heat and reduce until it's almost fully evaporated. Butter, and not just small quantities of it, it is after all what gives the sauce its name, is cut into small cubes and cooled. Beurre blanc is served predominantly with dishes which are prepared with no sauce. The fully evaporated reduction is now strained. Again, remember to squeeze all the juice from the shallots. The addition of a little cream helps to bind the sauce. Bring both to the boil, then gradually and gently whisk in the cooled butter cubes. Easy to prepare as well as needing few ingredients and very little time, this finely flavored sauce, which goes very well with fish, vegetable, and chicken dishes, has achieved a place of honor in nouvelle cuisine. Beurre blanc should be thick, creamy, and free from starch. Season with a little salt, and as always, check for taste. And if Mark Gallos is happy with the result, then this will stimulate even greater interest from the apprentices. To make beurre rouge, we naturally use red wine instead of white wine. To intensify the taste, we add an old port, or noyer prat. And as is the case of beurre blanc, finely chopped shallots and crushed peppercorns are already in the sauteuse. Reduce until almost evaporated. Mark Gallos recommends serving this sauce with meat or fish, where possible together with another sauce, because of the acidity. Straining the reduction has now become a routine operation. How concentrated the reduction has become is clear for all to see. The bottom of the sauteuse is barely covered, and the cold butter cubes are now placed in it. With a lot of feeling, which a chef must develop along with his tasting abilities, the butter is first swirled and then stirred with a whisk into the reduction. Add the seasoning for taste. And that is how sauce beurre rouge or beurre blanc is prepared simply and quickly. Beurre blanc and beurre rouge cannot be kept warm, so whoever orders this sauce can rest assured that it was especially prepared just for them. And when you serve your guests both these sauces, as Mark Gallos is now demonstrating, their appreciation will be warm and enthusiastic. We now wish you every success in making these sauces.